Corellia is the first of the neutral planets in Rise of Empire. In order to max this planet, you'll need 111.7 million GP for the first star, 178.7 million for the second, and 238.3 million for the final star. Corellia has a total of 5 missions. 4 of these are standard combat missions, and 1 of them is a special mission. The relic requirements are Relic 5, and the characters you need at this level to participate in all the missions for this planet include Jabba, Aphra, Young Han, Kira, and Lando's Millennium Falcon. Please note guys, for the ships it's only 7-star requirements. The pilots do not need to be Relic 5 for those to count. The operations reward 10 million GP for each completion and require tunes at Relic 5. Successfully completing the operations will enable the bonus throughout all of the neutral planets, so it's important to make sure you complete these as a guild. The bonus from the operation is called Shipyards, and at level 3 this means no operations have been completed and all enemy ships will have an additional 15% max health and speed. The reinforcement ability will also be 1 turn lower. By completing at least 2 operations, you can at least remove that max health increase, and by completing 4 operations, you can also remove the speed increase. Completing all the operations will remove the bonus entirely. This is extremely important, guys, if you want to be completing the later fleet missions on the planets that follow after Corellia. As Corellia is a neutral planet, it includes all the hero bonuses. So Rebellious Persistence will affect your light side heroes. These include Bodhi, Jin, Old Ben, K2, and Omega. And this ability will be increasing your damage through potency. At the start of the encounter, your hero or your chosen character will gain 50% potency, and they will deal additional damage equal to 35% of their potency whenever they attack. Now guys, this is not where the ability stops. It also has a second clause, which is whenever a buff expires, all allies gain 2% offense stacking for the rest of the battle. For those of you who aren't sure how this works, if an ability says rest of the battle, it includes multiple waves. If it says rest of the encounter, it means it ends when the round ends. The second ability that's going to be present in Corellia is going to be Imperial Might. This is the dark side effect, and it will include bonuses for characters such as Krennic, Gar Saxon, Lord Vader, Second Sister, and Third Sister. Now this ability will enable your character to recover 5% max health and protection whenever they perform an ability, and additionally you're going to be dealing 2% damage based on your max health to all enemies whenever you use an ability. So it's just a stacking and ramping ability. It's one that you don't really see too much early on, but as the encounter continues to go on and on, if you pick a character that's health increases, it's very, very nice. The final ability that's going to be present in Corellia is going to be Back Alley Deals. This is the neutral bonus, and it's going to affect characters such as Ahsoka Fulcrum, Aphra, Hondo, Jabba, and Kira. What this ability is going to be doing is whenever the character calls an assist, they gain 20% turn meter, and then assisting allies deal 20% more damage. Furthermore, whenever the character attacks out of a turn, they're going to attack again. This is probably the best of all the bonuses, which is really, really nice. Each mission in Corellia is going to be giving you 200,000 combat points, and the mission for the fleet is going to be giving 400,000, which is why you're going to see a lot of guilds prioritizing those fleet missions over the combat missions. The special mission will give you 195 get free currency. There are 3 modifiers which are present in Corellia. The first is called Scrum Rats, and what this does is it grants a buff called Coaxium. Coaxium is basically like a force taunt, and it enables you to attack them, avoiding taunting characters. Think of it like a mark like Jedi Knight Revan's mark. This is not all that Coaxium does. It's also going to be increasing your offense in terms of crit damage, and it's also going to be increasing your speed by up to 25%, but it's going to reduce your accuracy by 15%. Now, this is a buff you will need to learn to manage throughout this planet, because if it lands on the wrong character, it's going to be very, very bad for you, because the character is going to deal so much more damage. Note that when you attack a character Coaxium, your character gains it. So when a character dies with this buff, the buff is lost for the rest of the battle. So just make sure you have this knowledge in your mind when you go into these battles. The next modifier is called One Step Ahead, and this is going to be giving Scoundrel allies health increases, speed increases, and also immunity to buff immunity. And the third modifier on Corellia is called Corellian Engineering, and what this does is it summons a Corellian engineering ship for both sides. It's random which one you get, and whenever they take a turn, they're going to be giving protection over time to all cargo ships. Cargo ships include Millennium Falcon. Cargo ships also include ships such as Houndstooth. So now moving on to the first battle in this video, and that's going to be the Jabba mission. The Jabba mission is probably the easiest of all the missions on Corellia, and you can more or less auto it with Jabba and any characters you want, as he's going to more or less solo the mission himself. Obviously, if you've got Jabba, you've got Hut Cartel, so it's recommended you run Hut Cartel with him. But Jabba kind of just solos all the missions that he feels like doing. Just note, guys, you may want to have his ultimate. It will speed things up, otherwise it can take a while. There's no time limit on territory battles, but you don't want to be sitting there for half an hour. So if you at least have the ultimate, he'll get it done in 3 or 4 minutes on his own. The second mission we're going to cover is the Aphra mission. Now, like with Jabba, this mission isn't too complicated. The main worry is Aphra dying. If Aphra dies, that's basically it over, but if anyone else dies, Aphra can bring them back from the grave, and she can make them function again. The team you're going to want to run for this is Aphra, BT1 and Trip. The other slots are open to whatever you want to use, but characters I would recommend you use in this are going to include Vader, Imperial Probe Droid, characters like this, basically droids or just characters Aphra's kit calls out for explicitly. Next up, we have the fleet mission, and this one's going to require the Millennium Falcon. Now, the Millennium Falcon, this Lando's one, you have to use it in the starting lineup. The fleet you're going to be using for this is the Executor, and the lineup you're going to use is the Xanadu Blood is going to be on the reserve. So it's the standard Executor lineup, Razor Crest and Houndstooth, but this time you have Lando's ship in there. Remember, guys, you're also going to have the Summon ship as well. This mission is a little bit dicey. The main thing is you're going to be going up against the Empire fleet led by Tarkin, and they do have the Interceptor. Now, the Interceptor is the key target here. If you can kill the Interceptor early in the battle, you should have no issues winning, but if you allow the Interceptor to stay alive, Tarkin will get off his ult and you will suffer tremendously. What you'll find is that over the course of this battle, you're going to be getting the ultimate very, very quick. You inflict a lot of breach and debuffs, and you're going to get that ultimate. Once you get the ultimate, the round is pretty much done. Now we have the first mission on Corellia that does not require a specific character. Now, for this mission, I would recommend one of the following teams: Finn Omicron teams, Rolo Omicron teams, Kyle Katarn Omicron teams. If you don't want to use an Omicron, CLS also works, Padme also works, but you want to really manage what you're using here, as you'll need other teams for different planets. Remember, guys, we are running 3 planets at once, so if you want to compete in all these planets, you need to really think carefully about what team you're running. If you don't want to run any of these teams and you still want to go in neutral, you can also run Starkiller. Starkiller works very well in the neutral sectors. You can run Palpatine, Mara Jade, Starkiller, any Jedi, any unaligned Force user, and you're gonna at least 2 out of 2. The last mission on Corellia is the special mission, and this is by far the hardest mission you're gonna be participating in. Like previous missions, Scrum Rats is included in this, so everyone's going to be getting at Coaxium buff, and the big thing here guys is you do not want your key characters to die. So just remember, treat the Coaxium buff not only as an offensive gain but as a risk, because not only do you decrease your accuracy, but you're allowing yourself open to attacks from the enemy team. The team you're going to be wanting to run for this mission is going to be Kira. She has to be in the lead. You're then going to use Dash Render, Young Han, IG-11 and Quill. Now IG-11 and Quill have synergy in themselves. They're going to be taunting, you're going to get the speed, the turn meter gain, the buffs is perfect. But the reason you're going to want to run Dash is because you want to daze your opponent. The other thing is, if you mod your teams for high offense, it means that you will make it through these waves a lot quicker. In terms of modding, you're going to want IG to be modded for high health, Quill for high speed, and the rest of the team just offense. When it comes to Coaxium, there are two things you want to watch out for. The first is making sure that when Dash has his AoE, he has the buff, and the second is if a character looks like they're weak or flimsy, or maybe you don't have the best mods, make sure you're always hitting their Coaxium character, because you want to make sure that your characters aren't going to be targeted and killed. If Dash dies early, or Young Han dies early, or even Kira dies early, the round is lost. So you need to make sure you're paying attention to this, and if you can do this, the mission won't be too difficult. The second thing guys is you want to time the AoE from Dash and the AoE from Kira perfectly. And what I mean by this is during especially the second wave, you're going to be going up against Veers and other troopers, and it's quite a tough mission. Now what you can do is you can do the AoE stagger. If Kira is prepared, she's going to be staggering her enemies, and then Dash can come in and further daze them. So not only do you hit all those staggers and remove that turn meter, you then prevent them from gaining bonus turn meter. Bonus points to you if Dash had the Coaxium buff, because he's going to be doing a lot of damage right there. The benefit of Dash having this buff over anyone else is when he does his AoE, it's unavoidable. So that 15% accuracy down does not have any impact on Dash's AoE. No matter what happens, they're going to get the debuffs, and no matter what happens, they're going to get hit. Again guys, I cannot stress this enough, make sure your IG is modded for extremely high health, because you want him to be surviving long enough throughout the battle. Now my IG when I do this mission is around about 145,000 health. He's only relic 5. I feel like that's a reasonable amount to aim for, and it's what you guys should be looking for yourselves. If you guys enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing, and let me know down in the comments, have you beaten all the missions on Corellia? And if not, what mission are you struggling on? My name is Glurmit, and as always guys, have a glurming day.